What's the dumbest thing you ever got in trouble for at school? I've got two things. I sang happy birthday with a whole bunch of my friends to someone at lunch and we were to split up because it was inappropriate. Someone kicked my chair and I fell and I got a detention while they didn't get anything. I got stabbed in the leg with a pencil. I didn't get in trouble but neither did the superintendent's son, he was the stabber. He bullied all kinds of kids and made their lives miserable. Karma came back our senior year. He was driving and drinking in our high school parking lot. Doing donuts with another guy from the football team on the hood of the car. He wrecks into a light post and kid on the hood got slammed into the light post. He was seriously injured and had to be put into a coma to which I don't think he ever recovered from. Ruined dude's life. Not quite school, but a school function. I almost got kicked out of prom for being drunk, simply because I didn't want to dance. I was sitting at the table watching everyone else's stuff and 3 staff members dragged me outside to ask me how much I had to drink that day. Meanwhile there's girls who obviously had been drinking on the dance floor not being bothered. The first few school dances I went to were like that but at a much lower level, meaning everyone was just about literally harassing me and trying to make me dance when I didn't want to. Honestly, I came just for the Doritos and Oreos and stayed to watch the homeschool drama unfold. My dad had a "you can't stay home sick from school unless you're extremely sick" mainly because he worked from home and didn't like being bothered. So unless I had a fever of over 103 and/or was throwing up, my ass went to school. And to be honest, until I got my driver's license I had nothing to do otherwise, so I had very little reason to skip. So one day my freshman year in high school, I'm sick, I can't eat because I'm queasy, but I haven't thrown up at all, and I didn't have a fever, so off to school I go. I get to 3rd class and I realize that I'm going to toss my cookies. I'm in the middle of science class and we're supposed to be doing some quiet activity sheet, so I raise my hand to ask to use the bathroom. The teacher is a hard ass and says that I should have gone during break between classes. I said to her, "No really, I'm about to vomit." She infers that I'm lying and that I need to get back to work on my sheet. So I walked up to her, handed her the completed activity sheet, and threw up on her lap. She calls security and tells them I intentionally assaulted her with vomit. I was suspended for 2 days and my parents had to threaten legal action against the school district to get the suspension reversed. Turns out I had the norovirus. Was sick and asked to go to the bathroom. Teacher bitch said no. I vomited in her trash can. She tried to get me expelled. I can still hear my dad laughing in the principal's office. We had a kid who was sort of a class clown. He was also a really gifted athlete. We had practice that morning before class that ran a little longer than usual. We didn't have a chance to hit the locker room on our way in. Our coach always made us drink a ton of water to stay hydrated. About 20 minutes into the first period he raised his hand and politely asked to use the restroom. The teacher said no. He asked again. Same answer. He stood up next to his desk and asked a 3rd time. The answer didn't change. He proceeded to stand there and piss his white running shorts for a solid 30 seconds. The dude became a legend. He was suspended for a day and the teacher was also heavily reprimanded. One of the funniest things I have ever witnessed. I got yelled at for blowing my nose for too long. I got kicked out of math class for hiccuping. Not because it was disturbing anyone, but because the teacher said I was faking it for attention. I used to get hiccups a lot when I was a teenager and most of the people in my class didn't even notice when it happened anymore. It was uncomfortable and embarrassing, but didn't really distract anyone for more than 30 seconds. In the same year I learned to write. I got in trouble for showing my teacher I could write upside down while not looking. I was super proud of it for some reason, but I guess I was not taking my writing seriously. There used to be an outfit called National School Assemblies that presented mostly entertaining assemblies at schools across the country. One of them starred a man who came onto the stage and wrote his name on a blackboard from right to left. When the audience reacted, he asked what was wrong. Somebody told him, then he writes his name from left to right, only backwards, like a mirror image. Then he went on to write with both hands, upside down, every which way you can imagine. Then he went on to do more impressive stunts to demonstrate his ambidextrous, dyslexic abilities. I think writing upside down while not looking is pretty impressive. I thought I was pretty good for being able to read upside down fluently. I also saw an article about a guy who made glasses that reversed and turned everything upside down, like the viewfinder in some kinds of old cameras. So I rigged up a mirror device and practiced writing while looking at the paper through the mirrors, and it was really hard to even draw a straight line at first, but with a little practice, I could write. The weird thing is when I looked away from the mirrors after becoming accustomed to them, everything looked upside down and backwards without them. This effect lasted for several seconds until my brain made a big snap and went back to normal. It was quite jarring, and I've heard the same phenomenon from others, that it's a matter of thinking and getting used to the backwards vision, but popping out of it was like a kick in the brain. We were reading a Shakespeare play in high school English at a private school. The teacher asked if anyone knew what a line meant, where a character is talking about a pen as if it were a penis. When she asked, whole class said penis and I said wang. I got a detention for using inappropriate language, because I didn't use the clinical term. We had a quiz on a book we were reading, I think it was Stranger in a Strange Land. One of the questions was something like, describe the sexual attitudes of the society. I put, wham bam thank you ma'am, and got marked wrong. My friend put, whole lot of shaking going on, and got marked right. Still annoys me. Got a week's worth of detention once because someone spread a rumor that another girl and I were having sex in the bathroom between classes. Teacher whose class I'd supposedly left backed me up that I hadn't left class while I was supposedly getting it on. As far as anyone knew I was straight. I didn't really know the girl I'd allegedly hooked up with. What I actually got detention for was telling the principal that I didn't think it was any of his fucking business when he started asking about my sexual history. One time in primary school, I went into school with a weird pain in my side. It felt like a muscle stitch, so I didn't think much of it, assuming it would get better after a few minutes or so. Flash forward about an hour, and we're all sat in assembly. I'm almost doubled over in pain cause it hurts to breathe, and some kid next to me keeps talking to me. As I try and tell him to stop, I get singled out by the teacher for disturbing the assembly and so I have to stand up, almost in tears from the pain, and walk out of the assembly to sit outside while everyone watches. Flash forward about another 30 minutes and I'm lying on the floor of the headmistress's office, waiting for an ambulance to come and pick me up so I can be taken to hospital and later diagnosed with swine flu. We had to sculpt a clay bust, then glaze and fire it. I made mine a black man. I had to explain to the principal why I made mine black and a letter went home. I'm white, no black kids went to school. This was in 5th grade. I have no idea why it was an issue and neither did my family. I was a kid of divorce. Spent summers dad in a big city, came back to the rural south for school. One fall, I returned with an earring. Early 80s, so a white boy with a pierced ear was unknown? Anyway, I was called to the principal's office and grilled over the meaning of an earring. Some suspected the gay agenda, others believed it was gang affiliation. I was like it's jewelry. I was in pre-K and my teacher took our class to the bathroom. It's important to note that every door looked exactly the same and I was 3 or 4. I was getting some water and when I looked up my entire class had just walked off without me. So I toddled down the hall and opened the door I thought was my class. Spoiler, it wasn't. The teacher of that class gave me back to my teacher and I got put in timeout. Yes, I got put in timeout because my teacher left me at the bathroom. Totally your teacher's fault for not doing a head count before walking back. That's like the first rule for working in childcare.